welcome back for another video. Last game week feels like quite a while ago in this slightly different schedule. Team selection coming today on the weekend ahead of the Tuesday deadline for Gameweek 21. 57 points all out back in Gameweek 20, bringing an end to the run of green arrows. Nothing at the back, with Arsenal conceded to Brighton, Trent with a terrible performance for a 0-pointer, and Munoz with a more expected 2-pointer against Chelsea. Gordon was one of the highlights. He was brought into the team for the injured Bowen and he scored against Spurs. Captain Salah with a goal, Palmer, Wood and Isak also scoring. It seems a bit odd to get a red with 5 attackers scoring, including the captain, but knowing Bumo was a rank killer. Well played if you had him for the 19-point haul. Odegaard picked up an illness during the week, which we didn't know about till the lineups dropped, so that was a bit unlucky, though he might not have got much more than 1 point had he started. The other positive I'll take away in the Red Arrow week was getting the benching decisions right. Semenyo, Wood, Strand Larsen, Cole and Munoz were the 5 that I was juggling, and I ended up picking the right combination at least, even though a few of them blanked. Let's have a look at your biggest highs and lows sent in then. AJ says, Rodgers has been returning and every week he's on the bench, but he's blanking when I use him in the starting 11. 42 points benched here in total, that is brutal. You're certainly not alone in benching Rodgers points. I think I did it myself early in the season in fact. Brad finished on 71 points and he said, a couple of unfortunate suspensions forced me to play João Pedro and Ahmad. The team looked terrible on paper but managed a small green arrow and he's into the top 130k. So it was Rodgers and Timber that were out suspended and he got 18 points from João Pedro and Ahmad. Alan captioned this one, defence again indeed. Sells, Kirkes, Milenkovic and Collins all returned for him and he finished on 99 points all out. Kulusevski literally is only blank and he's up to 15k in the world, nice work. Deep Fried Lava has benched 155 points since their Gameweek 10 wildcard, and the most brutal ones they said are Cunha's 16 points and also Hall's 15 and 12 pointers and João Pedro's 9-pointer last game week. FPL Klopp absolutely nailed their transfer, Enzo in and Bumo out, straightforward 18-point positive swing. And lastly, FPL Roz Privaj, who didn't score as much as Alan, 80 points all out. However, that was a green arrow from 127th to 57th in the world. Keep it up, you're in a crazy position here where it is possible to win FPL, if you keep the momentum anyway, good luck. Let's move on to the team for Gameweek 21 and transfer plans then. It's the North London derby up next, Arsenal home to Spurs, and it's a must-win game for Arsenal to keep the pressure on Liverpool. They got away with it last game after Liverpool drew with United. The derby is historically a really unpredictable matchup, though in recent years Arsenal have got the better of Spurs, undefeated in the last 5 meetings. In defence it's Trent, Gabriel and Munoz. 0.84 XGI over the last 2 games since bringing Munoz in, that's more than any defender in fact. 3 shots taken, 5 chances created, no returns though. It's kind of similar to Trent though. I'd rather own a player who's got very good underlying numbers despite a few blanks in a row, over a player that's had a huge overperformance of bad data. And of course Trent followed those numbers up with a 15 pointers a couple of weeks back. I'm hoping Munoz can get an attacking return in the coming weeks himself. Trent plays away to Forest next game week, and Liverpool are 4th on the clean sheet probability, given a 34% chance. Top for Gameweek 21 is Man United with a 45% chance against Southampton, and then it's Newcastle home to Wolves, Arsenal home to Spurs after that. Van Dijk looked furious with Trent after the Martinez goal last match. It was very lazy not tracking the runs. He was benched in the League Cup against Spurs in what looked like a full strength team, and then he got the start against Accrington Stanley in a rotated side, make of that what you will. He was captain and he scored a class goal from outside the box. Gabriel completes the back 3. Tottenham's poor record defending set pieces is well documented. In fact, Gabriel scored that way last time they played each other. Can Arsenal take advantage of that, plus the lack of Romero and Van de Ven, assuming that they miss out again? A Gabriel goal, clean sheet and 3 bonus points for a 15-pointer would be absolutely massive as a ticket up the ranks. Let's move on to the midfield anyway, which is Gordon, Salah, Odegaard, Palmer and Semenyo. I'm delighted to have my boy Gordon back in the team, a goal last game week and 4 really nice fixtures ahead as well. Howe's really got them firing now, that's 5 straight wins on the bounce in the league. And over that run, their 13.32 expected goals can only be bettered by Liverpool. It's a home fixture against Wolves as well. They've conceded more goals than any team this season with 45. Southampton and Leicester have conceded 44. Not a great fixture for Semenyo this week, away at Stamford Bridge. It's been a bad week in the Bournemouth camp really, in the sense that Evan Nilsson has had to have an operation to repair a fractured metatarsal, and backup striker Ines Unal's out for the season. So we'll either see Kluivert or Semenyo striker, which could be good if it's Semenyo anyway. He did play striker back in Gameweek 1 if I recall. Alternatively, I could bench him and start Colwell and back the clean sheet. It's quite a close call. Who would you start, Semenyo or Colwell? As I say always, Colwell's ceiling is 6 points really, whereas Semenyo's is higher, albeit probably not much higher. So I've got Semenyo in currently. Captaincy's a tricky one. Palmer, Salah, Isak, even Bruno Fernandes all look like great picks. You can't go wrong really, and I've got the armband on Palmer currently. It's an easy opponent and it is a home fixture compared to Salah. The lack of Bournemouth forwards could play into Chelsea's hands as well without a pressing striker. And I'm not sure who comes in with Semenyo or Kluivert up top. It can't be Sinisterra or Tavernier out on the wings as they're both injured. Chelsea also boosted by the return of Lavia, which might also be good news if you still got Enzo. So with Palmer captain, it's Salah vice captain. It does feel like another opportunity to take on Salah. Anyone who went for it last game gained some points. Not huge, but there were gains. But the week before that, certainly not. Gameweek 19 is what makes it a really scary call, when Salah got 34 points as captain and Palmer got 4. That is an absolutely brutal swing, and that can be season defining even. Though had it gone the other way, that's also season defining. Forest just looks so organised, and the data backs up the eye test. 9 clean sheets is more than any team in the league. Second fewest goals conceded with 19, and their third best for expected goals conceded. So are any of you thinking about taking on Salah captains with another player this week? So Odegaard completes the midfield, and I'm not feeling convinced by him as a pick now, putting the illness aside last match. At the time of the transfer, the two options were him and Bruno got the red card, so it is what it is. Odegaard had Ipswich home as well, but no returns that game, or a couple of games since. He's not been as much of a goal threat as I'd hoped. Trossard and Martinelli also having poor seasons, which won't help, and I'm considering selling Odegaard this week. He's not an easy sell though, because he's probably on pens, and also Tottenham's injury, and it is a home fixture, so it could backfire if I do it. My front two is Wood and Isak. Wood's another one that I could consider benching for Colwell, since he's home to Bournemouth. In a tight call like that, I generally lean towards the attacker, especially if they're a penalty taker like Wood. I should caveat that I might be swayed back to playing Cole before the deadline though, for either Semenyo or Wood. Still got a few days to think about it anyway. 12 goals and an assist this season, what a season Wood's having. Looks like an amazing player to pick up from Gameweek 22 from Southampton home if you're looking for a striker. 13 goals and 4 assists for Isak in 18 starts. He's having an absolutely crazy season himself. 102 minutes per expected goal involvement, that's even better than Haaland. If you've not got him, then he's got to be a priority buy. The only thing to keep an eye on is a possible minor injury. After the win against Arsenal in the League Cup, Howe said Isak was just feeling his hamstring a little bit. You can never tell with Howe, and he is pretty elusive in his press conferences with the truth, but he has since said the following. We think he's pretty good, he's seeing his physio at the moment, he's having a couple of days rest. We think he's in a good place and he'll report back tomorrow. Initial assessments, fingers crossed he'll be okay. And in reference to the FA Cup, he said, we would probably have involved him in some way, but I think he'll be given this game to rest. On the bench, we've got Fabianski, Colwell, Strand Larsen and Greaves. Just one free transfer, and if you watch the transfer plans video, you'll know that I was looking at Strand Larsen to João Pedro. He helps improve the starting 11 immediately, given that he's got Ipswich, and I dropped Semenyo or Wood to the bench. However, he's since picked up an injury, and Herzler said he'll be missing the FA Cup, and he added, I would love to have him on the pitch, also in the FA Cup, but in the end he twisted his ankle yesterday in training. We'll have to wait for the MRI scan. So as it stands, he's got to be a no-go. It could be a minor injury and he'll still play Gameweek 21. Though Brighton's press conference will be on Wednesday after the deadline because they play on Thursday. Tuesday is the deadline. So we might not get any news until after the deadline. If that's the case, then I won't take this chance. Take a shot every time I said deadline there. Instead, I'm now looking at going Odegaard to Fernandes, who's got Southampton home. They're the worst team for expected goals conceded, and United will surely smell blood in this game. After 20 games, Southampton are actually the worst team in Premier League history with 6 points and a minus 32 goal difference. Sunderland, back in 2006, also had 6 points at this stage, but minus 23 goal difference. The season that Derby set the record for the fewest points ever, they had 7 points after 20 games, so one ahead of Southampton now. I still expect Southampton to do better than that Derby side for what it's worth, but maybe the João Pedro yellow flag is a sign to attack the Southampton fixture. Beyond that, it is a decent run of games for Man United. They play 3 home games in 4, and then after that it's Gameweek 25, which is the potential Liverpool double game week, and I'm aiming to use the assistant manager chip on Slot then. We've just had the manager price reveals actually, and unsurprisingly Slot comes in at 1.5 mil, so I'd likely sell Bruno Fernandes after the 4 game weeks to free up the money for that. If you've got any thoughts on the manager pricing or strategy, drop it below in the comment. Thanks as always for watching, and see you soon for the next one.